Okay, watch this. Z50 doesn't always win. And Z9999? That's not a fix, that's a flag. It means your CSS is broken somewhere. Look at this. A Z10 dropdown is sitting on top of a Z9999 modal right now, in Chrome, no DevTools tricks, no hacks. The big number lost, and once I show you why, you'll never write Z9999 modal 9 again. The answer's one word: isolate. Here's the part nobody tells you about zindex. DevTools just doesn't show you stacking context. You'll open your styles panel, you'll see Z9999 sitting right there, and you'll assume it's doing something. It isn't. I shipped a modal once that worked perfectly on my machine and broke the second it hit production. The modal had Z9999 and the cookie banner above it, Z50, banner 1. Took me half a day to figure out why. So here's what we're doing in the next 13 minutes. We're going through display, visibility, position, zindex, and a few image utilities everyone gets wrong. 5 sections, 1 mental model. Let's go. Section 1, display. Now, most devs only ever touch 3 of these: block, flex, hidden. That's it. But there are 9 more, and one of them got reordered in version 4 in a way that probably broke something in your code already, you just haven't noticed yet. So real quick, block puts an element on its own line, inline lets it sit inside a sentence like a word, and inline-block is the in-between. It sits inline with text, but you can give it a width and a height. That's the boring 3 out of the way. Now it gets fun. Contents. This one's weird. Contents makes a wrapper kind of disappear from the layout. The kids of that wrapper get treated like they're the parents' kids for layout purposes. Really useful in grid when you want a wrapper for state, but you don't want it eating a row. Then flow root. Flow root is the unsung hero of CSS. It creates a new block formatting context, and the plain English version of that is anything that floats inside it stays inside it. You ever wrap a div around some images, float them left, and watch the parent collapse to 0 height like it forgot the kids existed? Flow-root, 1 class, done. And then hidden. Hidden is just display none. The element doesn't render, doesn't take up space, gone. Don't confuse it with invisible, we're getting to that. Now, here's the version 4 trap. In version 3, hidden came last in the generated CSS, so you could write inline-block and hidden together on the same element, toggle hidden with JavaScript, and it just worked. Hidden won. In version 4, hidden moved earlier in the cascade. Now inline-block wins. Your toggle does nothing, element stays visible. So if you upgraded to v4 and stuff that used to hide is suddenly showing up, yeah, that's why. The fix is to write hidden first, then your responsive class second, like hidden MD inline block. That's the v4 pattern. Move on. Section 2, visibility. So I just told you hidden removes the element. Here's its quieter sibling, invisible. Invisible keeps the space. Sounds like the same thing, right? It's not. It's actually a huge deal. Imagine you've got 3 icons in a row and you fade out the middle one. With hidden, the icons next to it snap left to fill the gap. With invisible, they stay exactly where they are. The middle slot is just empty now. So the rule I use is hidden when you're toggling content on and off, invisible when the layout has to stay calm, placeholders, skeleton states, anything where things jumping around would look broken. Then there's collapse. Collapse is a niche one. It's specifically for table rows and column groups. Hides the row but keeps the table's column widths intact. If you've ever toggled a row with hidden and watched your columns suddenly rebalance and look terrible, collapse fixes that. Use it when you're hiding rows in a data table. And then there's SR only, the accessibility one. SR only makes the element invisible to your eyes, takes up no layout space, but screen readers can still see it and announce it. The classic use case is icon-only buttons. You've got a settings cog, just an SVG, no text, and to a screen reader user, that button is just called button, useless. So you put a span inside with SR-only, type the word settings in there, and now it's announced properly. The user sees nothing different. The screen reader user finally knows what the button does. There's also not SR only, which undoes it. Useful when you want a label hidden on mobile but visible on desktop, like a button that's icon only on phone, but icon plus text on a wider screen. Done in one line. Alright, section 3, position. This is the single biggest source of why is this thing in the wrong place bugs in frontend. 5 values, and most people only really understand 2 of them. Static is the default. Every element on your page is static unless you tell it otherwise. And the thing about static is it ignores top, right, bottom, left. You can write top 4 on a static element all day, nothing happens. Relative looks identical to static, same flow, same position, no visual difference at first, but it does 2 things behind the scenes. It honours top, right, bottom, left now, meaning you can nudge it, and way more importantly, it becomes a positioning anchor for any absolute child inside it. And that's the part that trips everyone up, because absolute doesn't position relative to the parent, it positions relative to the nearest non-static ancestor. So if you've got an absolute element nested 3 divs deep and none of those parents are relative, your absolute element flies all the way up to the body and sits in the corner of the page. Looks broken, no error, nothing in DevTools telling you why. The fix is one class, relative on the parent you want it to anchor to. That's it. Then fixed. Fixed positions relative to the viewport. Doesn't care about the document, doesn't care about scroll. It just sits there. Navbars, modals, that floating chat button in the corner, all fixed. And sticky. Sticky's the most misused one. It behaves like relative until you scroll past a threshold and then it pins like fixed. The threshold is whatever offset you give it. Top 0, top 10, whatever. But, and this is the gotcha, without an offset, sticky does nothing, just sits there like relative forever. The other gotcha is sticky needs a scrollable container, and the parent can't have overflow hidden. If your sticky isn't sticking, 9 times out of 10, the parent has overflow hidden somewhere and you didn't notice. Now for actually moving these things around. Top, right, bottom, left. You know those. But Tailwind also gives you inset. Inset 0 is shorthand for all 4 sides at once. Inset x0 is left and right. Inset y0 is top and bottom. 4 classes condensed into one. Really clean for full bleed overlays. And if you ever build for Arabic, Hebrew, any RTL language, there's a logical version. Start 0 and end 0 instead of left 0 and right 0. They flip with text direction automatically. Inset S0, inset E0, same idea. Build it once, both directions just work. Okay, section 4, the big one, the whole reason you clicked on this video. Zindex. So Tailwind gives you Z0 through Z50 in steps of 10, plus Z auto for the default, and if you really need to escape that, you can do an arbitrary value like Z100. That's the easy part. Rule 1. Zindex only works on positioned elements, relative, absolute, fixed, sticky. On a static element, it does literally nothing, doesn't even apply. So if your Zindex is being ignored, check that first. But that's the easy rule. Now the part that actually breaks people. Zindex does not sort across stacking contexts. It only sorts within them. Okay, so what is a stacking context? Think of it like a sealed bubble. Every stacking context has its own little internal Zindex ordering, and the Z values inside one bubble don't compete with the Z values in another bubble. The bubbles themselves compete with each other as a group, as wholes, but the numbers inside, they never see each other. So that's why your Z9999 modal loses to a Z10 dropdown. The modal is sealed inside one bubble, the dropdown is sealed inside another, and the dropdown's bubble happens to sit above the modal's bubble in the page, so the dropdown wins. And it doesn't matter what number you wrote inside the modal's bubble. Could be Z1 million, wouldn't matter. Now here's the part that catches absolutely everyone. Stacking contexts aren't only made by Zindex. There's a whole list of CSS properties that silently create one without you asking. Opacity less than 1, transform, any transform, even transform scale 1, which does nothing visually, filter, will change, mix blend mode, position fixed. So when you write transform scale 1 on a card to use it as a hardware acceleration hint, congratulations, you just sealed that card off from the outside Zindex world. Everything inside it is now in its own bubble. Your Z9999 just doesn't reach, and nothing in DevTools warns you. There's no message, no styles panel highlight, nothing. Now here's the fix. There's exactly one CSS property that does nothing except create a stacking context on purpose. No transform side effect, no opacity change, no filter, no nothing. It just creates the bubble cleanly. That property is isolation isolate. In Tailwind, that's the isolate class. And here's how I use it on every project I touch. Any component that has internal Zindex ordering, a card with a badge, a modal, a drop-down menu, a toast, anything, gets isolate on the root. That way, all the internal Z values stay internal. They never leak out, they never fight with the outside, and your stacking context bugs basically just disappear. If you only remember one thing from this whole video, remember this. Wrap your component in isolate, use small Z numbers inside, stop reaching for Z9999. Section 5, the quick wins. Few things to wrap up. Float. Yeah, float still exists. Yes, it's still useful. Not for layout. Flex and Grid replaced layout floats years ago and we're never going back. But there's exactly one job float is still the right tool for, and that's wrapping text around an image inside a paragraph, like a magazine column. Float left on the image, the text flows around its right side. Float right, opposite. There's also float start and float end for RTL. Its companion is clear. Clear left, clear right, clear both. Slap that on a sibling that should drop below any preceding floats. And remember from earlier, if your floated child overflows its parent, the parent needs flow root. That's the modern cliffs. No more empty divs, no more pseudo-element hacks. Now objects, object fit and object position. Two utilities that control how images and videos behave when you stuff them into a box that isn't quite their shape. Object cover is your default for 90% of cases. The image fills the box, crops whatever doesn't fit, never distorts. Hero images, avatars, product cards, anything where filling the frame matters more than seeing the whole image. Object contain is the opposite. The whole image stays visible and you get letterboxing if the box is the wrong shape. This is the one for logos, always. Logos must never crop. Don't let object cover anywhere near your logo grid. Object fill stretches the image to exactly fill the box, and yeah, it distorts. You almost never want this. The one exception is when you've already prepared the image at the right ratio and you just want to force it in there with no subpixel weirdness. Honestly, 99% of the time, skip it. Object scale down is the polite version of contain, shows the image at original size if it fits, scales down if it's too big, never scales up. Great for icons where you want pixel-perfect rendering. And then object position. This one controls where the cropped image sits inside the box. Object top is the one most people miss. Default is object center, which is fine for most things, but for portrait photos in a tall card, center crops the forehead off. Awkward. Object top keeps the face in frame, object bottom, object left, object right, and all the compounds like object left top, object right bottom, pick whichever focal point you actually want shown. Tiny detail makes a huge difference.
Quick recap. Display controls flow, hidden removes the element, invisible keeps the space. SR-only is for accessibility. Position needs a parent with relative to anchor absolute children. Sticky needs an offset and a parent without overflow hidden. Zindex only works on positioned elements and it only sorts inside a stacking context. And the silent creators of stacking context, opacity, transform, filter, fixed, they seal off your Z values whether you wanted them to or not. So if you take one thing away from this whole video, this is it. Stop writing Z9999. Wrap your component in isolate, use small Z numbers internally. Your bugs will literally just disappear. Here's a challenge for you today. Open whatever you're working on right now, find the highest Z-index value in your codebase, find the component that owns it, add isolate to that component, drop the big number to Z10, save, see if anything broke. I'll bet you nothing did. If this clicked, I drop a Tailwind deep dive every week. Subscribe and the next one drops on Flexbox, where I'll show you why Flex 1 is almost never what you actually want. See you there.